Don Lane, Fraser Valley News, Chill TV. We're talking with Adrian Smith, who is legal counsel to Peter Lang. There is a petition, and we'll get into the legalese of this in a moment, that has been started to try and get a process going when it comes to the very controversial Chilliwack School Board trustee, Barry Neufeld. Adrian Smith, legal counsel, is on the line. Adrian, can you explain to me what is going on in basic plain English? I know there's a lot of legalese. Now, this is not, this is a petition. It's not outright legal action.
Well, let me just start by acknowledging that I'm sure your listeners have heard a lot of things about Trustee Neufeld and the things going around with the school board in Chilliwack. This is a very narrow legal issue. It's a petition, which is a kind of action filed with the BC Supreme Court. And it's basically an action asking that Trustee Neufeld be removed from office because he's violated some of the conflict of interest rules under the School Act, which governs how trustees should behave. And
this is following on the heels of some school trustees that have asked for Neufeld's resignation. There has been the legal action with the former head of the British Columbia Teachers Federation. There's been concerns from the Chilliwack Teachers Federation, or Association rather. But this is a separate issue. This is strictly violating or contravening privacy laws and information that should not have been released?
Well, it's worse than that, actually. There's a policy that talks about what happens in closed meetings, and the school board found that Trustee Neufeld had violated that policy. The school board's remedy for that was to bar this trustee from attending future closed or in-camera meetings. But what this legal case is about is something more significant, arguably. The School Act sets out really clear expectations when trustees might have a conflict of interest in a financial matter. And the rules state that if that's the case, the trustee has to remove themselves from the meeting and not participate. And the school board itself has found that Barry didn't do that he participated in a meeting and a discussion on a meeting in which he had a financial interest. And they issued a public statement to that effect. And they said that he had violated the section of the School Act that requires him to remove himself from the meeting. What this court case does is follow up on that declaration by asking for a remedy from the court. And that's it's pretty much the only recall style mechanism available under the School Act. Neither the board nor the minister have the power to remove him from office, but the court does if he's violated this narrow provision, and my client says that he has.
Are you at liberty to say what this financial interest was for Mr. Neufeld, or is that still in the legal flux?
There's some affidavits filed before the court that says he participated in a conversation about a legal settlement in which he was named.
Okay. And was that the one with the BCTF?
This is QB411.
Oh, this is before. Okay.
So the Municipal Workers Union.
Right.
Or the school board staff who are not teachers.
Right. He's said other things, and of course the R word when it comes to our competition with the Chilliwack Progress. Mr. Neufeld seems to be, for lack of a better term, Teflon. Is this going to stick, or how vigorous will this action be from your client with regards to Mr. Neufeld?
Well, I'm optimistic that the court will hear my client's submission that Mr. Neufeld is clearly in violation of his requirements not to be in a conflict of interest. I think it helps that the school board has certainly found that he's been in violation, but ultimately that decision will be made by a judge in the Supreme Court of British Columbia, and I'm hopeful that they hear my client.
Do we have a timeline at all, or is this still too early?
It's still too early to tell. We'll be serving Trustee Neufeld sometime in the very near future, and then he'll have the opportunity to answer the allegations, and then we'll see what the court's going to do with that.
Hypothetical situation, because they are dealing with the school board is dealing with the budget, and in the past with other districts, if they have not had their financial ducks in order, other school boards have been removed. There's that possibility that can happen at the end of the month. A hypothetical situation, if that happened in Chilliwack, would this legal action be dropped, or would it continue?
That's an interesting question, and I don't want to speculate on what the special investigators will recommend at the end of the month. We know that they're looking into this school board particularly. I think the allegations about what happened in the past, that isn't going to change. It would still be a live issue about whether or not the violation occurred. The remedy to remove him from office would obviously be redundant if the minister were to remove the entire board.
Right. Adrian, are we missing anything that we should be touching on? Because this has been happening fast and furious starting on Friday afternoon.
I think all I can say more is that my client, the elector, is of course disappointed that the board's energy has had to focus on issues like this, and he's hopeful that after the new trustee who was elected in the by-election this weekend is installed and this case is resolved in a timely way, that the Chilliwack board can get back to responsible and inclusive administration of Chilliwack School.